Welcome, 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 everyone, to another adventure into reality. I am joined by my intrepid co host, Martina Grubmueller. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. And one day you could call it Grubmueller.
Grubmueller, excuse me. I missed the.
Just for fun. No, it doesn't really matter, but Grubmueller.
I missed the umlaut.
Yes.
Yes. So today, Martina, we are on a no plan, meaning the universe is planning something unique and special. We have covered every topic from every zone and every place, and we want to give back to the audience today who wants to talk about any of the previous shows that we've done, have conversations, or just talk to us. Now, we are at a point where Martina and I may just stare at you for 4 minutes. And we're going to call it the no teaching. And what would you learn from us just staring at you in this no teaching? So I want people to go down to that chat room, and what would you learn if we were to just stare at you for 4 minutes? And Robert was playing some soft music in the background. As we begin to stare. So, Martina, now that we have stared thoroughly at everyone, we're going to open up the calls. Now, Robert is the one that chooses the wheel of callers. Martina and I do not have anything to do with who is the wheel of callers. So, you must be present next to your device. If you're one of those people that raises your hand and walks away from your computer and starts lunch or dinner and is listening in the background or not listening at all, you have 2 chances to answer your phone. If you don't, we move right on to the next person. We used to give you 3, but there was a whole bunch of people, person after person, who was just squatting with their hands up. So please be next to your device. All right, Robert, let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who is first. iPhone, are you there? You are unmuted, what? iPhone. Hi, where are you at?
You chose me. I'm in Canada.
What's your name?
Lindsay.
Hello, Lindsay. How you doing today?
Fantastic.
So, have you been listening to the show with me and Martina for a while?
Yeah, a couple weeks.
What have you been learning from it?
That my words are powerful, and there's a certain scripts I could say that will heal my soul. I am a soul, and it's just all my consciousness has been expanding since July. Had an awakening, and I feel better. I feel less depression and anxiety, even though the stakes in my life are a lot higher because I'm going to court for custody. And I really get stuck on that because I can be zen and do yoga all day, but my little 6-year-old is in the middle of like a nasty little battle and I got to make sure everything is okay for him.
Yeah, and you can't just fart butterflies and rainbows all day in yoga positions.
Yeah, exactly. The future seems so uncertain.
But that's when you have to give it your own certainty.
Right. His dad wants to, give him the vaccine, and like I certain things I can't stop or control, and letting go of that is hard.
So why do you have to have control of everything?
Because if his DNA gets altered, that he's only 6, like I guess I can't control anything, but I'm really just listening for insights, and I was so surprised you chose me. But
well, you're the Wheel of Callers. Martina, do you have any insights as a mother you'd like to give our caller?
Yeah. First of all, this thing with control is very interesting. I've been working with that a lot, having my daughter is 21. So, but in the very beginning, I had to start looking at that. And I came from the perspective that I had brought a baby into this world, a new person, and I was not in control of that person. That there was a responsibility towards her during the time where she couldn't, look after herself. But by no means I was looking at having to control anything as a mother. Having learned that everything that you're trying to control is actually controlling you.
Yeah.
Very quickly, what I realized was that all this control issue and those ideas to get it right and everything that we all mums, obviously dads have too, was just part of us buying into what is a good mum supposed to be, what makes a good mother. And who are we to inflict the goodness or the badness, the rightness or the wrongness on that person that has chosen you as her or his mother? So turn it round. For what purpose do you think that is he or her? Is it a him or her?
Yeah, it's a him.
A him. He has chosen you, probably to make mistakes. It's okay, because he's come here to learn with you.
Okay.
Now, when it comes to vaccinations, Emma was born in South Africa, and I had somebody in the office I was working with who had their son had contracted autism after, the MMR vaccination. So I had to start looking at that, because that's not a control situation. That's more like a responsibility towards your child to inform yourself what is available out there and get enough information so that you can actually make a choice from a background where you really have informed yourself well enough. And if you just take all this away and just go in there and start, getting all the information, and I started, I remember when on Google started talking to all sorts of people all over the world, what they thought about vaccination, yes or no. And it was a tough decision at the end, choice to make, because we decided not to vaccinate her. And it was a tough one, huh? I had to sign all types of things that I made that choice. And, there were so many, even at school in the beginning, they're saying that I was a bad mom. So this whole blah, blah, the question is, are you willing to be a bad mom if that is so perceived by others, but you are actually following what is right for you? And at that level at that age, it is your responsibility to make a choice for the child.
Am I ready? Yeah.
Yeah. And stay in the question. This is always when you go into that place of control and it has to be this way. What is right for you? What works for you and that baby? Ask that question and then allow that, remember that raw intuition. Get out of all this feeling, emotional, blah, blah, what is good, what is bad, and just work with your raw intuition. And it's almost like your body almost tells you to yes or no. Start kinesiology. You know, you can actually start working with your body. Shall I vaccinate? Yes. Shall I vaccinate? No. Use everything you've got, but stay in the question. Do not go into any conclusions. And by all means, do not allow anyone, not your mom, not your husband's mom, not anyone out there, to make choices for you.
Okay.
Does that help in any way?
Yeah, it does clear like something up. I have another question.
Yeah.
I know I'm talking, but like, just switching gears, is heaven just another dimension? Can I create that in my apartment where I am when I need to? Because sometimes I have really bad anxiety and I'm able to calm myself down, but I just wonder.
Did you listen to our last show, the last one, the demystifying time travel? We're talking about dimensions, yeah? And dimensions are level of awareness, basically. So you are continuously adding dimensions to your life, to your thought processes, as you're going through the different levels of awareness, continuously, all the way up, 10, 12 dimensions. So what exactly is your issue with the partner?
He lives 5 minutes away and he's just got engaged and he's doing the manipulation game with another woman, and I'm lucky that I have proof I can show her, but now, like, how do I show her? And I have a lawyer, so I'm going to figure that out, but he's just a narcissist and he's kind of in charge, and I just want what's best for my kids. So I'm calmly doing it now, because before I wasn't calm. I was like kind of hostile. So now I think I am ready to be like you said, am I ready to be the quote unquote bad mom? Because that's what I'm labeled as, but yeah. I'm not. So I just have to build myself, get a diploma, get a career. No, they can't come at me if I'm not doing anything, and I know I'm not. So,
well, first of all, you've already separated by the sounds of it.
Oh yes.
So if he is a narcissist, then that's probably the best choice you could have made for you and for your child. Okay, so gratitude for that. Okay, and just really be aware that you've already stepped into your potency there by having the awareness, by adding that additional dimension, if you wish, knowing that staying with him would not have been a good recipe. Yeah. Now it's a matter of working on your spiritual hygiene, on your boundaries, and not being reactive, expanding yourself out. There is so many tools there are. One tool, for instance, if you do perceive that you are being projected at, acknowledge that. It's got nothing to do with you. He will project at you continuously all the crap that he's going through, that all the crap that he has not healed. So if you start listening to anyone talking to you, giving you shit judgments, they're always regurgitating their own stuff that they haven't healed. For you, it's a matter of being aware of that and not taking it on.
Mm-hmm. I got a question for you. Is any part of you spiteful or vengeful?
No. I want my son to have his father. I just don't want his father to make the decisions for his health.
So, again, spiteful or vengeful?
I want the best for his dad, but I don't want his dad to... I don't want to hurt anybody. Even his girlfriend he's cheating on now, that I can show her this proof.
But that's spite in what you're saying.
But shouldn't she know he's with men? Like,
listen, you don't even realize that it's spite energy. Okay. It's her relationship. It's not for you to break that relationship up. That's spite and slight bit of vengeance, which is then entangling you with the narcissist again, which will then create more and more arguments.
Well, they want to move. They want to move with my son across the country, and like they're making
get a court order to stop it.
Okay, I'm in the work.
That's it. Just get a court order to stop it. Don't engage in his personal life anymore.
Okay.
Don't be a bickering Betty in the background going, he's cheating, because that means you still have something for him.
Here's the other part. The file on my computer, he put the file there. I wouldn't have these videos if it wasn't for him. It's almost like God is like, here's something you can, I don't want to use it, but you're right. It's not nice.
Okay?
Okay.
Don't be spiteful. Don't be vengeful. But understand the court is your final answers here. And if you have to use that stuff in court, show it. I guarantee the kid will go to you. Okay?
Okay. And I promise I'm going to have way more better questions next time.
Good.
It was a great question.
No, there's a lot of mothers in your
Thank
exact
you.
same situation. So you've been a good teacher. Thanks a lot for calling in.
Yes. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
All right, Robert, let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who is next.
Alrighty, next person will be Stephanie Christian.
Stephanie Christian, are you there?
I'm here. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. Where are you calling from?
From Asheville, North Carolina.
Asheville, North Carolina. Welcome to the show. What have you been thinking about this? Have you been listening to us for a while?
I have been listening for a while. Yeah, I'm so shocked right now. I didn't think that I was going to get called. So
You have been,
give me
the
a moment.
universe.
I love your shows.
Go ahead.
But I especially love your shows with Martina because I've been doing this sacred homework for a long time, even before I found you. And I also do want to say thank you because I do love all of the spiritual community information out there, and you stand apart because you're not in the QAnon stuff, you're not in the conspiracy world, and you're practical. So thank you so much for that. Anyway.
Well, it's my honor, my honor to be me, and to not be factionary.
It's just such a nice breath of fresh air to be able to apply these things that we can all do, and we aren't holding on to some special knowledge. We all have it. But anyway. Yeah.
So what shows have stood out for you?
I loved last week's show. I like them all. I think they all kind of blend together. And sometimes I've even, what was the one before, 2 weeks ago? There was a money one that you did too. That was fascinating. There's been several.
Did you watch the Orchestra of Consciousness shows? The three parts?
No.
For all of you out there that are looking for some unique stuff talking about ancestral entities, hauntings, and how your guides and guardians work, just go to the YouTube page. At the top of the screen, click the button that says videos, and that lists all the videos that have been out since the dawn of the channel. And just scroll back and look for Orchestra of Consciousness 1, 2, 3. Very unique shows that has a lot of information. It goes deep into frequency, harmony, vibration, what's a force match, what's a natural match, and there's a lot of tidbits of stuff in there.
Was that one of the episodes where Martina was talking to the entity through you? Wasn't there one like that was
afterwards. That was the Arcturians. That was recently.
That was really that was a special episode. That really stands out to me.
It's where he dropped me in the shit, isn't it? Where he dropped me in the
Yes.
Do it.
Threw her in the hot seat.
All right, I will check that out. Thank you.
So did you have any questions that you wanted to ask us?
Yeah, I do have one specific question. Like I said, I've really been working. I've been doing some of the invocations and just my own sacred practices. And it really, one of the things since COVID, what it has awakened for me is my dream world. So I've been doing a lot of work kind of bridging these gaps and going into the dream world and creating that sacred space while I sleep. And I'm starting to understand the language of symbols and how they connect with our awakened consciousness. And I keep having these dreams, Andrew, and I'm just trying to identify, am I connecting things or am I just kind of making symbols out of nothing?
So first thing first, do you believe in yourself?
Yes.
Then you're not making it up.
Okay.
But something still in you is watering the seed of doubt.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
So what does it take for you to believe in your own dream?
I think, there's a level of you kind of have to be a little crazy. Do you know what I mean?
No. That's devaluing. That's devaluing yourself.
Or I guess abstract. You have to be there's a level of abstract.
Non-conforming.
Let's
use some positive words here.
Yeah. Non-conforming.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, you can. Even I was listening to one of your shows the other day, and somebody was talking about some of his alien experiences with the hooded beings, and I was like, I've been there. Like, I know this guy. And there's a level, though, and you understand this, in that normal world that we live in. People, if you start talking about the hooded people that are standing over you, they're gonna have a laugh.
You have a thing of persecution.
I do.
Okay. And you do the inner work on persecution, and your dreams awake so much more sense for you.
Okay. All right.
So were you at all persecuted for your beliefs by family, friends, or at least poked fun at a lot?
Not too badly. It definitely had some highlights in my life. I think it's a past life thing personally that I'm still kind of working into now, and that I bring it into now because I haven't dealt with it. If that makes sense.
I don't think it's a past life. I think it's a present life that suddenly your parasympathetic makes relevant to defend your lack of valuation of yourself.
Yeah, I do. I think you might be right. And actually, I love how like the calls kind of piggyback off of each other sometimes. And I actually had a child that I gave up for adoption. And I think it might be connected to that, which is now something like it was one of the best decisions I've ever made for both of us. And we've actually had some contact and have been able to come to that. But I think it might stem from that.
The trauma of giving up on yourself is still the trauma of giving up on yourself. Thus why natural persecution energy is very easy for you to accept.
Yeah.
You're the classic mother who gave up their children that didn't decide to become a single mother at a times where being a single mother would have been the hardest thing in your life.
Yeah.
Okay. You chose yourself, and that child went to a good home. And you got to remind yourself that choice was truly the best choice. And any inner part, aspect, or fractalized part of me that thinks that it wasn't is disassociated from you.
Yeah.
And it's trying to use external projections to your internal self so that aspect becomes a dominant internal piece. Mm-hmm. This is the vicious cycle so many people go through when they make hard choices and big decisions, such as giving up a child or having to have an abortion.
Yeah. I think actually, it's like my inner rebel is almost, that's like my own persecutor at the same time. It's like this interesting role that's being played. Mm-hmm. I feel that. Mm-hmm. But in regards to my question, so sometimes you'll send out these sort of like daily reminders, in your emails. And sometimes they're almost like right on par for some synchronistic to some of the things, especially when you send out the dream ones. And there really is truth in this. I just want to clarify that really the promise of our future is in the dream world, isn't it?
There is no separation between this and the dream world. And it's not a promise, it's a knowingness.
Yeah.
And the dreams are trying to reveal the knowingness that there is no separation. And the only thing that keeps us in the duality right now is perception and perspective.
Okay.
And what will it take for a paradigm shift change in perspective and perception so that we can realize this is not a Truman Show. It's your individual dualness is a singular experience still. There is no separation between the two.
I think I get it. And it does all tie in to this persecutor. Thank you.
Martina, do you want anything add on the persecuting energy?
Yeah, I just want to add the external projection. As you were talking about the external projection. You actually have a choice. Like we said early on, you do not have to take them on. But just because you're perceiving them doesn't mean that you have to take them on. And that's the choice we all have to make, because, we were just talking early on. I mean, it's like this is a stagnant energy at the moment, and we all feel like we are stagnant, but we are not. It's not that we are all stagnant. It's just because we're perceiving that energy. And that's the choice you can make to send that back. And the more you make that choice to not take on the projections of others, the more you're starting to fortify your reality, and the more you start to heal those little holes in this auric field of yours where the old persecution still wants to come in. Lifetime, past lifetime, this lifetime, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, clear it. It's all happening, at the same time anyway. If you think it's past life, well, it's past life. If you think it's future life, it's future life. Just clear it anyhow.
Okay. Thank you. This is some good advice and information.
Well, thanks a lot for calling in. We're going to move on to the next caller.
Okay, have a great day.
Okay.
Thank you both.
Thank you. All right, Robert, let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who is next.
Alrighty. If I can say this right, Loveritas.
Loveritas, are you there?
Hello.
Hi, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Serbia. And
Serbia.
Yes, and
Yes.
this is so exciting. I was just thinking, come on, another side of the globe, people, we are here too.
Yes, we got a lot of people that call from all over the world.
Yes.
For the longest time, it was more than half the callers were always calling from outside the world. So, anyways, what did you want to? Have you been listening to us for a while?
I am. Today is my 7th time in the row since I hear you in the interview with Magenta Pixie a few months ago. And I get kind of quote unquote addicted to you and of course Martina as well. Great information, a lot of help, much food for thought, really on so many levels to learn and expand. And absolutely grateful for what you do for all of us, whoever stop by.
Thank you. So what are some of the things that stick out to you that you've learned from our shows?
One that really helped me, although it's so many things that I linger to and research a little bit and meditate on, but your revocation for divine feminine. I translate most of all on your website, all revocations in my language, and it's literally so powerful. It's shifting every day, something new. It's shifting, and since last call, somebody forgot the name about sexuality. The couple who lost the child. Oh, that was so powerful. Even now while I'm speaking, I just had goosebumps. So I did as well translate. And before anything, I really wanted to ask for permission if I could share publicly those translations, of course, with your link to it in Serbian.
The answer is yes. Just give a link to it. And
yes.
Martina is the one that created the sexualness treatment document.
Yes,
and she has it on the Earth Nouveau site, I believe.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm also on Martina's side as well. I love how synchronized you two are, and it's a flow, always that flow that you're tapping into it. So amazing work from both sides. Thank you, Martina, for that revocation. I must admit I added a few things that came from my personal experiences and personal trauma that I been healing through awakening process for ever since probably 2007 approximately. And this really was like a cherry on the top, I guess. And that's how I feel, that revocation statement.
So I always add stuff to it. Yeah. Make it with any of the revocations out there.
Yes.
I want to actually say something to that particular couple that called in on that Thursday. Yeah. I listened to the show the next day and realizing that they were reading the revocation that I had written a couple of years ago, I actually got so much healing out of it, because remember, it was written as a future treatment.
Yeah.
I got so much healing out of it myself. I was in tears, and there was a synchronicity too, because I don't know if you remember, Andrew was saying to me in the walk-in section that I prenatal walk-in.
Yes.
Yeah, and that couple going through grief with the 9-day-old son, leaving this reality. And I connected that, and I completely released my grief that I did consciously, from this. I was continuously crying through the whole thing.
Yeah.
And the fact that he made them read together, and you could see how they supported each other. The one was coming out, the other one stepped in. It was just
amazing, absolutely. And I felt all room was at the same frequency. We all felt it. That's how I experienced, like we was totally in tune, all together, supporting them, and they felt it too, and we did. So you're doing an absolutely amazing job in the world on all so many levels, definitely. So
great, thank you.
Thank you so much. So I have a zillion of questions. I will try to choose one that would probably deserve the audience more than my very personal, although of course it's personal question, and it's coming from my perspective. So it's to do with creativity. I am living creative lifestyle as in many forms for over 40 years. And in the last 11 years, I'm doing creative empowerment and trying my best to pick the most valuable perspective on it. However, my question is, as an artist and designer, I often found myself in the creative chaos, which also as much is inspiring to create out of that positioning, because you are jumping, so now visually to express, jumping from flow to flow if you are surrounded with many projects. So what I'm struggling even all these years and doing having my own business for that 11 years, still I don't feel I tapped into one specific something that I could be of the greatest service to others as well as to myself. I struggle with earning money because I'm jumping from one project to another, and not that they are all unfinished, but I just get like that inner child forget about the business for a moment and get excited to do some to manifest idea that seems to be so unique in certain way. So that's a long question.
There's actually there's no question, but let me say something to that.
Yes, please.
So what if your uniqueness is being completely not unique?
I was many times called to think about and even meditate about, and found that there is, maybe I used the wrong word, there is no unique. That idea is not my idea. I'm aware of that, and this
so what I'm saying is, what if you could do your art without ever being unique.
That is the struggle, because I feel when I come up with something seemingly that I'd never at least seen or read or come to my eyes, if I do that, Martina, I feel like copycat. And this is something that instantly I lose the passion for it. I love to keep originality and purposeful on every level, and that actually this serves my process of creation in some way.
So the thing is, there's so many people who do the same thing, but they never do it the same because they do it through their unique expression.
I realize that.
No ways. We can draw exactly the same picture, and it will have a complete different energy towards it. Yeah. The problem is, and I totally get you, because Jesus, I've done this 1,000 times. Okay. You've got to stop making it significant to be unique, because you are. You got to stop having this mind thingy around you that you're not unique, because it's a lie. You are unique. There's no one else out there that's the way you do it. As soon as you get that and stop the significance of having to be unique, you can actually see yourself being the uniqueness that you actually are.
I didn't mean unique myself. I am aware of our uniqueness and all that. It's more to do with the product I'm creating.
Same thing. The product is a product of your uniqueness.
Well, what then?
It has your signature frequency stamp on it.
Yeah. So what would be your observation in that case for what is my perhaps blockage?
The blockage is that you still buy the lie that you're not unique. It's like, okay, you're not a woman. I'm telling you, you're not a woman. What do you do now? You believe it's the same thing. It makes no sense. You're a woman, right? Are you a woman?
Yes, although I sound masculine.
Yeah, but this is the thing. It's like it's not even an argument. You've got to stop believing and making something significant which has no significance. It has no significance. You are unique. That's it.
Okay.
Okay, I can't say that because some people are colorblind and stuff, but
I am a color expert, so
and that's it. You can talk 5,000 hours about this, and it's not going to go anywhere else. The question is, what am I not acknowledging here, and what am I making significance that actually isn't? And then keep trying that.
You feel that would be uniqueness?
That would be unique to do that.
To eliminate the world, the world. What about original?
It's part of it. It's the same thing.
So I have something to add there. When I was trying to discover my radio voice and what made me unique, I discovered it was my uniqueness, which was my uniqueness. And when I followed my uniqueness, I didn't make mistakes. And when I followed the common conforming stuff, I made the mistakes. And once I got out of conforming to what the conformists wanted, and I remained in my unique state, I found that it was very simple to produce thousands of hours of material. So accepting your uniqueness is at many different density levels within you. There's the human you who has to accept it as inner work. There's the spiritual you who has to accept it as how you exist. And then there's the greater you who's got to accept it monthly and yearly.
Yes, I get that. Well, thank you. May I ask another question that is totally out of the topic that we spoke about, because I really get and I appreciate what you are saying, both of you,
Sure.
in that regards. So Yeah, I am in Serbia, and I used to live in Australia. I'm still citizen over there. 25 years on my own, and karmically or whatever, during my awakening process, I keep coming back and forward, and 5 times but due to my family call, specifically my mother, I have a son also in Macedonia, so they calling me in, and I'm leaving everything behind and starting again, and that circle never again ends. Now that I'm here, everyone turns back to me, and I realize that I change a lot, and I am, but everything else around me here on this land seems that didn't move from where it was even 100 years ago. But what the question is, although I am here now 8 months and I feel the journey here is finished, I like to I'm not sure. Should I stay here?
No.
Even on my
No.
own?
No.
No.
Ancestral energy has brought you back and put you back into the same ancestral traps.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Those traps are never going to change. They're always going to be there. The land isn't going to change until the people on the land change.
And my energy, Andrew, is totally different. I'm so much, as you just said, I feel like back in the past, back in the living 200, 300 years back, while in Australia, I was tapped in and tuned in and experiencing multidimensional selves and being visited by other entities that
because the land allows it, and the land you're in right now doesn't allow it.
Yeah. Okay. So
leave.
Yeah.
Obviously, COVID's going to make it a challenge, but ultimately, if you're a citizen there, they should be able to allow you back in. I know Australia has some really tough rules now on COVID, like really serious stuff.
And Victoria too. I'm in New South Wales was based, but I'm free to travel anywhere. But I do highly appreciate your support. Thank you so much, Andrew, and thank you, Martina, as well. This was very helpful, and all the best to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you.
All right, Robert, let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who is next.
Alrighty, Iyari, you're unmuted.
Iyari, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hello.
Hi, where are you calling from?
I am calling from El Paso, Texas.
El Paso, Texas. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So what have you been listening to us for a while?
I have. I actually, I'm really grateful that I was chosen. I've tried for a few weeks. It's been about a month and a half that I've been listening to the show, and I kind of started listening to you because my brother, he turned me on to you all. After a experience that I had at a ceremony, he started bringing up your name, and he got me to listen to you. So I for a while, for about a month and a half, been wanting to share the experience that I had at the ceremony, and just kind of see what you all think, because apparently you're on the same wavelength.
Well, shoot, tell us your story.
Okay, so I've been participating in Indigenous ceremonies for about 18 years, and we had one a month and a half ago. There was 26 people there, and at the end of the ceremony, it was already closing. It was time for everybody to, share a little bit about their experience of the night and share some words. And all of a sudden we see, we're out here in the desert, so we're constantly seeing beautiful falling stars and comets. And during the night, by the way, I had been praying and asking for help from the stars, the star people and the ancestors from the stars. And not me personally, but just help for what's happening on the planet right now, this like great transformation and change that's happening. So me and my friend who was sitting next to me kept kind of playing around, and he would point up at the sky and be like, oh, look, there's a UFO. And it would be a satellite, and we would just play around. But whenever the staff would come to me and the drum would come to me, I would pray for our people and then connect to the stars. So at the end of the ceremony, my friend points to the sky, and it looks like a comet is forming, like when a comet hits the atmosphere and then it starts to form like a tail. And so we're like, wow, this is such a beautiful, bright comet, but the tail just keeps extending and extending and extending, and it's not disappearing like it usually does. So then before we know it, it's spreading like across the entire sky and forming this like tail of other little stars. And it's slowly moving over us. And at this point, we've gotten the attention of everyone else in the circle, and everyone's just looking up at this thing that's coming across us. The best way I can describe it, the closest thing I've seen, I've looked up, other sightings online, and I haven't seen anything recorded. I really do feel like it didn't let us. The moment that someone brought out a phone to record it, her phone stopped working. So. What the closest thing it looked like was a luminescent jellyfish. Have you ever, where it's like translucent and transparent, and there's all these like little stars it's in between connecting it, and it's moving as one. It was moving kind of like a caterpillar, and it had a blue hue to it, and I recognized it. It felt like it was conscious. And the only thing I could do was just look up at it and yell at the top of my lungs, "We love you." That's all I could do. I was like, "We love you." And it went right over our fire, which I thought was really beautiful. It wanted us to see it. It wanted us to witness it. And then it slowly moved over our fire and towards the east, which I thought was really symbolic too. And it went into these clouds, and then it disappeared. It didn't come out the other end. And we were just in awe. And it made me think of, and myself and a couple of the other people who do ceremony, the first thing we thought of was Quetzalcoatl, the return, the prophecy that our ancestors have of the return of Quetzalcoatl. And so I told my brother this story, and he told me that I should talk to you. There's a little bit more to this. My brothers, when they were little, they used to see blue people, and they both have the same memory, very clear memory of them playing. They would play hide and seek with these three really tall, they said, blue people, and that the blue people would gather around my crib at night and make me laugh. And then later on in life, I did a ceremony by myself, and I felt this angelic blue being holding my hand, and I broke down crying because I realized that this blue being had been in my life beyond this lifetime, since the beginning of my existence. And the thought that something could love me and know me so well was like, had me weeping in tears.
Mm-hmm. So I got a question for you. What kind of ceremony was it?
It was a hikuri ceremony, a medicine peyote ceremony.
And was the peyote gathered from the desert individually? Yes. So each person had gone on a hunt and talked to the grandfathers and grandmothers?
Yes, our elders do that. They go on a pilgrimage to the Rio Grande Valley and connect to the gardens, the sacred gardens there, and then bring them back to us.
So only the elders went on the journey?
Yeah. The elders and a few other community members, but not everyone can take the time off. It's about like a 9-hour drive.
I understand. I've done both. I've been a recipient, and then I've been on the journeys also. Yeah. So what you saw actually was a powerful ancestral community spirit. Mm-hmm. And as it was coming to you, if you had gone into ceremonial dance, it would have manifested on the ground as a blue snake. Mm-hmm. And the blue snake would have gained butterfly wings, similar to the flying serpent Quetzalcoatl. But it also has other ancestral energies to it, such as the Kokopelli energy. Are you familiar with Kokopelli?
Yes, I am.
Do you understand he came from Atzlan and brought the rains, etc., etc. And it's about the lover's energy.
Yep.
So it was an assembly of many deity god energies from the ceremonies of the past going into the ancient future. So it's fair to say that everyone that was in that ceremony, there was another version of you in the past in a similar area, hundreds of years in the past, having a ceremony and seeing the exact same thing in the sky. And the ancestors acknowledging you through many different generations of song, prayer, and dance. That particular place that you did it, I would highly recommend that you gather men and women and begin a ceremonial dance troupe there. Possibly even doing something like they do in Nazca lines, where maybe you get some really long string and have people use their feet to stamp out a marching line. Even if you can't see it from space, it's okay. And do some very long petroglyph drawings and dance the petroglyphs. And what you'll begin to do is imprint into the ground the vision of what you saw, and then the sky will come to the ground.
That's amazing. Yeah, I'm a dancer, and a lot of times during ceremony, I have the impulse. I do sun dance too every year, but during medicine ceremonies, I always have the impulse to get up and dance. And that was something that was lost to our people with colonization. We weren't allowed to dance, so we would sit, and that's why they added rattles. And so
Right.
that's one of the callings that I have, is to bring dance back into those ceremonies. So that's really amazing.
So what I can say here, are you familiar with the Yaqui snake dancers?
The Yaqui snake dancers. No, I've seen their deer dance though, but not the snake dancing.
So I've talked about this before. They take rattlesnake rattles and they put them on their boots, like 20 or 30 of them on each boot. And then when they go to dance, all the rattles go in unison. And can you imagine 20 or 30 divine feminine women, each with the rattles on their boots and on their elbows, in the dancing harmony, creating the rattling energy from the rattlesnake itself. And do you remember what the rattlesnake means as the energy medicine?
Well, it's a very important medicine to us for transformation.
Correct. It allows you to become the dancers, the transmuting dancer energy, where it allows you to take the energy of the sky and transmute it to the energy of the ground, and the energy of the ground and transmute it to the energy of the sky, and you'll make this what's called the ground to sky snake, which is what you saw. Which was a combination of many ancestors from many realms making a direct presence into your faith-based systems.
Yes. And can you believe, Andrew, that still after 26 of us witnessed it, and one I like to call him the control of the group, because he didn't consume medicine and he was sitting outside of the circle. He saw it too. But people still doubted what they saw.
It's natural. It's natural. But the big message is you can manifest it without the medicine via the dance.
Because the medicine was practically out of our system, and the fact that every single one of us saw it, it was
It's actually a beckoning to you to go and do ritual dance ceremony and draw out big lines and begin to make even if it's a 200-yard petroglyph and blaze into the ground in which you're going to dance, even if you just get a weed whacker and something and just carve out the lines with a shovel or something so people know the positions to walk in the shape and the different sacred geometry shapes of your nations, and you will begin to make manifest to grass, sky to ground. And you won't need the medicine, as well as the medicine will begin to grow much closer than the 9-hour journey to get it.
Wow, yeah. We're right next to the sacred site called Itzlapopolan, but it's called Waco Tanks. It's a national park now, but there's lots of petroglyphs in that area. So there's already petroglyphs in the rocks. These rocks are really amazing sacred spot that our ancestors used to visit and do ceremony. So we could use some of those. They have the jaguar and the Tlalocs and Quetzalcoatl all drawn in those rocks already.
Yeah, which is now reaching out to you and saying, you are the modern shamans, the modern dancers, or what I call the dancers of the southern sky.
Mm-hmm.
A collection of the most ancient soul families who are assisting shamanic souls from one era of history to incarnate in another era of history with much of their dancing shaman skills intact. The passion for magical dance and healing too.
That's beautiful. I'm a dancer, like I said, so that's amazing. I really would love to do that.
So I'm working with the ancestors of the area right now, and there are some powerful healer spirits that are on the land. And what they're asking is you to create a sacred spiral and then put a massage table in the center and have people go to lay on the table as 5 to 10 dancers dance the spiral around it and touch the different power points in the body and help release traumas.
Okay. A lot of women have been coming forward to me about sexual traumas lately.
Yes, and this will be one of those situations where you can reintroduce them to their blue being who has known them since the dawn of all their eternal births.
Awesome. We have a pyramid on a ley line that was built right here. I think that would over there in our sacred spot. That would be
the key is to get creative with the ground drawings that you're going to be creating.
Okay.
And make them big. Don't make them small. Make them plenty of room for people to dance within them. Even if, like I said, you got to use string to mark it off so people can understand the structure in which you want them to work with.
Okay. Okay. Awesome.
And the next thing is, where are you gathering your firewood from?
We have trees that grow along the rivers around here where they usually get them. We have cottonwood trees that have died. A lot of the cottonwood trees have actually died because of the damming of our river, and some willow trees that they use too.
All right, so this might be a little bit of a challenge, but to try to have 2 fires, one that's cotton and one that's willow.
Okay.
Even if it just starts out that way, and honor the willow as the ancestral tender that it is, because there are many groves of willow matriarchs that have passed on their wisdom to the unseen world, who are now waiting to pass it on to the daughters of man. And the weeping willow has its own unique assistance at removing traumas.
Okay.
And then the cottonwood is more of a mix between the masculine and the feminine when it comes to a matriarchal, patriarchal grove. And if you can begin to try to separate it into 2 piles of wood, you will discover that the masculine and the feminine fires, the spirits of the trees will be present in the fire and begin teaching individually to each person as their own individual spirit tutor through the fire.
Oh, wow. It's really interesting that you bring up trees, because that's a connection that I have personally. In one of the ceremonies recently, the elder told me that I was a tree, that I turn into a tree during ceremony. But yes.
We're all trees.
Yeah.
In another site.
Yeah, I totally relate to that.
Out of curiosity, so you said your brother introduced you to me.
Yes.
How did that come about?
He started looking up blue people because of the what he saw when he was little. And you came up talking about the Arcturians, and he became a huge fan of you. And he had actually tried to get me to watch you a few years back, but I wasn't because I didn't want to. I was distracted. And so this time when I saw this visitation, he's like, you need to listen to Andrew. And so I started watching your show.
And here we are now, all this time later.
I've been trying to get on your show for about a month and a half now, so I really appreciate being chosen.
Well, wonderful. Yeah. So, Martina, is there anything that you'd like to add to what we've heard?
No, I think it's just grateful for your contribution. It's just lovely. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah.
Go to the ceremony a little bit and learn a bit more about it.
Do you have a ceremonial dress outfit? Garb?
Yes, I have a few that I've made myself for Sundance.
Okay, Sundance is totally different.
Mm-hmm.
I would highly advise you to make something completely new for these other ceremonies that isn't Sundance.
For the dancing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on, there's a little bit more here. Just give me a second to tune in. This blue being that you met in the ceremony, he's still waiting for you to communicate back on a higher level.
I know.
And to show him you're ready to take on the responsibility that your mother and father and their mother and father and their lineage has passed on to you.
I want to know his name. And
he doesn't need a name.
Okay.
He's got a million names. He's been with you since all of your births. Okay? But this lifetime, it's about you and your capacity to take on the responsibility that the unseen world is waiting for you to commune with them on a much bigger scale, and that it will not take away from your greater experience of life. It will only add to it.
Do you have any recommendations on how to connect to him on that higher level?
You're one thought away right now. Do you need to be in ceremony to do it?
No.
If you know that, then try every day.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
And don't think all logically. Sometimes it's blue being that's been with me since the dawn of all my births. I love you. And that's my attempt today to take on the responsibility that the unseen world is asking me to take on the responsibility to acknowledge its presence in my everyday life. Until one day I can act as the shamans of the old, and they are within my mind, heart, and spirit without a separation but pure flow. You're a spirit talker. Start talking.
Okay. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling in.
Well, thank you so much, and I appreciate your time and I always want to ask you how you're doing, because I know you expel a lot of energy during these calls.
Oh, I love doing these calls, especially with Martina.
Okay.
I get a lot back too. The challenge comes when you're working a 60-hour work week. It's the work beyond the work.
Yeah.
And then ultimately it's, am I going to self-heal and am I going to self-nurture? The answer is yes. Okay. Every now and then I've got to cancel some sessions, but that's because I want to give everyone the best session as possible. Like just a couple of weeks ago, I had to cancel an entire Tuesday sessions after I did a radio show because I just wasn't feeling in the zone. And I knew if I would have pushed myself, I would have taken me, days or weeks to recover from the fact that I wasn't acknowledging what my body and my spirit was saying, which was honor thyself.
Exactly. Good. Yeah. Self-help. And same with you, Martina. Thank you so much for your help and your guidance. Appreciate what you do. Appreciate what you all are doing, and the fact that this is free. When I first looked you up, I was like, man, I'm never gonna get to talk to him because I can't afford it. And then I saw that you guys do these calls, and I think that's really, really amazing work.
That's right. Do it 8 times a month. Okay. It took you a month and a half, but you got on.
Yeah. Thank you guys. You have a good day.
You too. Get out there and start talking to spirit.
I will. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Martina, very unique calls that we're getting today.
Absolutely. And you know why? Because of the 4 minutes we did.
Yeah, exactly. We stared at you.
We stared at them.
As well as the no plan. That helps a lot too. Exactly.
Thank you so much for phoning in. That was such a cool caller too. All of them were amazing. But that one was obviously so cool, bringing back the ceremony, and that invitation to bring them actually to start materializing them onto this earth, because that's what we can do.
Exactly. And becoming the living, breathing manifestation of responsibility to acknowledge spirit is real.
Exactly. Very cool.
All right, Robert, let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who is next.
Great calls. Falcon Messenger, you're getting a signal to unmute.
Falcon Messenger, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Australia.
Australia, like 3 o'clock in the morning for you.
Oh yeah, it is. My wife
So,
is sleeping.
so how long you been listening to us for?
Actually, I read the removing the contracts.
Mm-hmm.
My friend, she told me to read it up. You need to get rid of these contracts. Because I have it like my ancestors all like they've been doing witchcraft all their life, but I've been against it. I really dislike anyone trying to um, harm other people for their own great, and that shouldn't be right. We all should be equal and help each other in every ways, right?
Oh, I
There's
agree.
some,
I agree, but unfortunately, not all of humanity is in that same perspective.
yeah, and everyone can put something on the table. We all can share, and we all can love and enjoy life, even through the hardship. All the greatness happens, you know. So, especially nowadays, my mom, she wants me to do energy work for them, for their own benefit, which is I refuse to do because I'm not like that, you know. I I don't want to be square minded person, you know what I mean?
Oh, I fully understand what you mean.
Yeah. So my
It has
biggest
to be there
question,
has to be an exchange for energy that's in alignment with your personal code.
true. The other day she said to me, I'm rich, and you're poor. And I said, I'm thank you for that. I appreciate that. But I know it's like a trigger that she's trying to say I have the power, but the money for me is not important. What is important is enjoy life and heal. Listen to Mother Gaia. So the picture you see on my image, that's the eagle that always hang around in the farm, which is only me and my wife live here, but always the top of my head, doesn't matter what I'm doing, splitting timbers or whatever. So I know there's some type of, and not ancestor, but like a past life of American native that connected with me somehow. So I just want to know a little bit about that because I saw
So
one.
when you have an eagle that
Yeah.
is forever around a person that's working a land, that's an
Yeah.
ancestral guardian.
Okay.
Meaning you and that eagle at another point in time were eagles together, giving birth to spiritual offspring who would become humans and human ancestral guardians at a future date. Part of what eagle does is the great teacher of spirits of how to bond for life with the mate that can pass on to the generations of generations. But it's also about the guardianship, the wisdom that the eagle learns from its flying high in the sky with its specific sight to see the smallest thing move on the ground, seen and unseen. The eagle has the capacity to use its talons when in flight to make a downward strike and remove an entity or a ghost from a person just by its shrill and its diving attack with its talons. It can pull a ghost out of a situation, protect a child. And I believe that this eagle that's flying around you everywhere is acting as your ancestral guardian, but it is also waiting for you to step up and begin listening to its words that it's trying to teach you, that you are an ancestral guardian of the land, and that the ancestors, the birds, the bees, the ducks, the dinosaurs, all the things that have lived there in the past, the present, and the future, are asking for you to become an ancestral guardian, an ancestral guide, helping the energies move on or stop stagnating or grow in a particular area by naturally working the land and allowing life to blossom and flourish. by
Yeah.
using your capacity to do energy work on everything that's on the land, from the dirts, the rocks, the bees, the skunks, the thises and that's.
It's funny you say that, because I was thinking soon I need to make some type of activation through with the Gaia, working with the land, with the soil, with the trees, and with the creeks going running down through the dams, just natural dams.
Mm-hmm.
I was guided. I'm like guided, and sometimes I'm like, but I said I don't want to basically force. I have to do this because other people doing it. You know what I mean? I just want to be unique way that I feel comfortable to do it. You know, like I don't want to be one of those spiritual guys just going to do it because one person talk about Palladian, or I just want to be just natural. So I know I'm putting myself backwards in a way. So
But you got to start taking 2 steps forward as the ancestral guide. If you feel an urging to go to those natural dams and rivers, it's saying that it's wanting you to go there and look at the place. Just your presence there can help move energy. Prayers can help move decades of energy that's been clogged up. And when you find an area where the logs have been jammed up and the stream's been moved, you might want to take it on yourself to just try to move some of them, to show that your effort and energy into the area will help those that are downstream too.
yeah, that makes sense. Because I had so many account, like I've been like I step, and I was like literally not even 1 inch away from red belly snake. Those snakes, they when once they bite, you're dead.
Yeah.
Like there's no tomorrow. But I found it funny because normally they hiss or they don't, and he was like all round one, like a circle, and he didn't move. And so many times, like I see a snake coming towards me, but he doesn't want to bite. He just wants to come near me. It's funny how things work. I'm not really a snake catcher or anything. I don't like to kill anything really, but I found it funny. And I noticed like my ancestors, they used to worship King Cobra in Persia. So there's some type of thing do with that. I don't know. They said it
Well,
was
snake medicine is about charisma, sexuality, and the unseen worlds of how charisma and sexuality can transform and transmute energies around you. If the snakes are being attracted to you, it's because your energy is saying there's transmutation, transformation energy there. But you have to take that as a ancestral gift and start transmuting and transforming and shedding your own skins too. The cyclical process of the snake is to shed one skin so that the new charismas and unseen world capacity to speak and nurture the unseen worlds can come through to you. And then your seen world skin, those things that are holding you back and those things that are leapfrogging you forward, so that the continuous rebirth process is within you. So the strength of transmutation is but a thought away.
See,
you can be a powerful transmuting shaman, transforming shaman, if you were to take on this spiritual charisma that's already in your soul. It's an energy you exude already.
Yeah, true. Because
you must take up ceremony, ritual, and prayer.
Yeah.
You need to create a prayer ground for yourself too.
Oh yeah, I need to do that. Yeah. You know, this is the thing. Before I wake up, I saw I was like, I hate gardening, I hate all this. And when I'm with my wife, then I start waking up and I'm realizing, oh, I need to grow trees and plants and stuff like that. I went crazy. But for 2 years, my wife was telling me I should go to work in someone's farm. And I noticed the big company I was working at, and somehow I got a job as a seeding plants. And I noticed all these vegetables coming from supermarkets and KFCs and McDonald's and so on. They actually they are like tablets, like medicine seeds. They germinate in 2 days. Then normally it takes 5 days or 7 days to germinate.
Yep.
So these things are man-made products. So I said to myself, I can transmute that as a positive, so heal the people whoever eats them. You know, so change that. Everything has the dark and light. So change that in a way. So I know I need to work with the plants and food-wise for people. You know, even the soil was not normal. It was is made in Europe, in different countries, and they put it on together. And that farm was only sand. Normally,
but there are ways
there
are ways that spirit and man with spirit can come in and take the industrial manufacturing ways and bring spirit back into them.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So what would be a good idea for you is to go to your local store and buy as many vegetable seeds as you can and put them in a pouch around your neck and sleep with them for like a month or a month and a half. And then start planting a few seeds here and there on the different parts of your land and make a small little map. And anything that sprouts is part of your dream world because it has shared extensive time with you and yourself. And what you'll begin to notice if you say you get like let's say 100, 150 seeds, and in your area you have you know what your growing times are, and you'll be able to discover these things will naturally propagate on their own, and then you will be able to connect to them because, as I said, you have spent dream time space with them.
Let's see.
The ancestors of the past always slept with their seeds. Oftentimes, they would put their seeds in a special mound of dirt, and the whole family would sleep around the mound of dirt.
See.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or they would be buried underneath their bedding area.
I'm getting good ideas. I'm getting excited.
Okay, and then just start planting as many as you can.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's it. My blood is pumping. I'm getting ready. So yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks a lot for calling in. You've been a great help to a lot of people too.
Thank you. I hope I did. Thanks.
Yeah. Martina, we get special caller after special caller after
we
special caller.
We do. I just want to add something to this. If you guys go on the earthrevolt.com website, has actually written a really lovely invocation for seeding along those.
Yes, that's a very good one.
It's a very good one. So anyone who is looking into that, it's beautiful.
Yes. So we've got time for one more caller. So Robert, let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who is next.
Alrighty, spinning. That was a great call. That was his first time into the show. Joel Garcia.
Joel Garcia, are you there?
Hello, Andrew, can you hear me?
Hi, where are you? Hi, yes, I am. Where are you calling from?
Vancouver, BC.
Well, welcome to the show. What do you want to talk about today?
There are a few things. Well, first, I would like to thank you again for everything you have done, and thank you, Martina, as well, for your perspective. What I want to start first talking about is I would like to just extend a bit more the understanding of protection versus fortifying. I do understand what you have said before, when you become paranoid or you put all your focus on the energy on protection, that's pretty much like you covering yourself in blood and then going to the jungle. Of course, all animals are going to be attracted to you. The same thing happens with dark entities. So I would like you to explain a bit more how we can all put our focus in fortifying our energy, our reality, instead of protecting. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. We talk about this frequently. So I'm gonna use a metaphor here. Mm-hmm. So if you have a campfire and just a sleeping bag and no tent, you're going to be in a state of protection.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? If you have a fence around your campfire with your sleeping bag, you're in a state of fortification.
Mm-hmm.
That is the difference in perspective, where you are building up layer upon layer upon layer of this does not need to be protection. This is my barrier, my guide, my system of defining when protection is the external from the external negatives is my benefit, so that I am in no longer a defensive posturing, but a deeply relaxed posturing within these fortified expressions of love. Building the container, the vessel that allows the greater you to stop worrying about the thing next door that might attack or might not attack, or whatever paranoia process that you're going through. You can deal with it in the moment because your walls, borders, and boundaries are there with such potent force that you can allow those things to let down. Martina, would you like to add to that?
Yeah, it's. I always link it up with sovereignty, and boundaries to reflect out to others that you have a level of awareness that is not just one of those light worker ones where if you're thinking positive, everything is positive. No, you have to be in awareness that there is charge and polarity out there. That doesn't mean that you're buying into it by protecting yourself from it, but it's saying, I'm aware that not everything is glory, and joyful. So that's often the question, would an infinite being protect themselves? I say yes, because an infinite being has a level of awareness that knows that charge and polarity is out there, and we are people in it. We are humans in a skin suit in this reality, and this comes with the responsibility of acknowledging that awareness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just asking because of, as you said, not everything is glory, but not everything is bad. So it's like that fine line between both of them. Because most of our reality, there is always something trying to trigger a reaction. So is that way of thinking, that processing in that moment to not fall into whatever is being thrown at us. So I just wanted to, get a bit more information on that. I will have to listen again to kind of process it more. Something related to this as well, what we're living right now, we have heard many of us saying, get your spiritual shield ready, prepare for things. So that's more like, it kind of contradicts what we're talking about. So can you explain more into like what we're experiencing right now to prepare where things are coming, but at the same time to don't fall into the reaction paranoia?
Well, preparation for something happening is preparing for the paranoia.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Why can't you just be you, and the work that you're doing is fortification and protection at the same time?
I think it's mainly because of I can only control my reality, but I cannot control the reality of people around me.
You can't actually control your reality. That's an illusion.
Exactly. In the sense of I can only put my focus or my energy in something, but that's up to the universe and everything that's around to either manifest there or contradict there or shift me into a way.
Are you trying to out-predict the great mystery by preparing for a potential something that people have been saying are coming for a long time but hasn't come?
Probably subconsciously.
Yes. And subconsciously, that's created a program inside you of needing to prepare for something that might happen, but won't actually happen until it happens.
Yeah, I guess it's because of I'm still, as I heal and I keep growing, I've been always, I come from a type of background where it's all paranoia, protection, blah, blah. So I guess I'm still...
You don't need the old school paranoia protection.
Yeah.
As long as you're doing your inner work, the awakening will protect you.
Got it. Okay. Yeah.
Keep bringing in the light. Keep transmuting and transforming your reality. Understand you can't control everything. Spirit is working with you and through you at every moment.
it all comes down to trust. It's just that trust is such an easy thing to say, but to actually trust in every moment, that takes a lot of. It's
a leap of faith. It's a leap of faith,
for sure.
And also you could probably look at what trust actually really means to you. You know, there's so many different definitions for trust, and the way I look at it is trust for me is knowing what I know in that particular moment. You know, having, and that doesn't mean it means the same in the next moment. It's a different type of trust. You know, it's just knowing what I know. So what is it that you know? And also the other thing is probably realizing that you are your own source of creation. And the universe, on the universal energy, is co-creating with you. Creation, there's no separation as such. Yeah, protect does not mean separation. You can protect, you can fortify your realities in full awareness of the oneness that we all actually are. It's just an acknowledgement of the oneness rather than the fear of going, you know, into separation.
Yeah. It's just, life is something that you cannot, like Andrew said, you cannot control. You can only, you can prepare all you want, but until you are in that situation that you have to deal with the adrenaline, the thinking, the feeling, the acting, you only have 1 second to react. So that's it takes practice. I also want to know more from your perspective so that way I can apply more about that. But thank you very much for what you're saying. Actually, by just listening to what you're saying, it's already like peeling layers off, and it feels lighter. Something now that okay. Sorry, you want to say something?
No, I was just. I think last show we were talking about expectations. When is an expectation not an expectation? And there's that subtleness of it, so it's almost like you're choosing something and then you get to that stage and you realize it's not working out. Well, great, then you choose something different. So you have to be constantly in that fluidity of motion of choosing, continuously staying in the present moment.
Yeah, and it's such a you can never really teach anybody to in the present moment. It's such a thing that you have to just do it, But sorry to not take you much of your time. I've heard before about the clay technology, the understanding of summoning spirits to fortify your reality. Can you expand more in that concept? Like, what does it take to do that? What is important, especially what we're living right now? Is that applying to...
First thing first, no one should be summoning spirits if you don't know what you're doing.
That's what I'm asking, yeah.
Now, when we ask our guides and guardians to come in and be a part of it, are we summoning them? No, we're inviting them to co-create.
Okay, that's...
When one goes to the word summon, you are using your authority as a God source being and contracting a type of energy to not co-create with you, but to contract an outcome. Now, there are positive energy beings who regularly take spiritual contracts to come and work and protect things. And then there are the not so honest ones who are negative spiritual bodyguards. They may protect you from the bullies, the nightmares, this and that, but what are you paying at the end? What are they actually taking from you? So when it comes to the summoning thing, so you'll see this throughout the contract revocations. I summon this, and this into a spiritual court of equity to gain remedy and resolve. That is a different purpose. That is using your authority to create resolution now, because this thing is avoiding the resolution. Okay?
So it has to be like an exchange of energy between their side and my side.
Or the end of an exchange of energy.
Okay. No, I was just saying because I've heard about the terracotta warriors and what they're all about, so which is very interesting for me.
So terracotta warriors are super high-end spiritual technology that is from another era of history that humanity is not ready to even comprehend its potentialities. One terracotta warrior can actually represent hundreds of thousands of individual beings who can suddenly teleport out of one terracotta warrior, and you could have an army of 100,000 appear instantaneously.
Yeah.
Okay. They are vessels of teletransmutation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was asking because, especially where we're living right now, it would be kind of nice to get some type of support. So.
Yeah, but that's not support you can use. Okay.
Yeah.
The support you need is the grass, the trees, the frogs, the insects.
Earth.
You need to get them. You need it because they have plenty of support that you need. You don't need the mythical devices of the past. They were the crutches that got us in trouble.
Yeah, sounds very good. Can I have one more question?
Sure.
Expand a bit more into how we can know deeper layers of when you're experiencing false synchronicity and when you actually experience true synchronicity, because sometimes they look alike. Sometimes they're kind of change a few things here and there. So what can you say when you are living, especially when you are under adrenaline, when you are experiencing a trigger? What are some of the things that you have experienced that they actually can help us to track when something is not, it's just false and something is true?
Martina, you want to stab at that one?
Yeah, I was thinking about this. For me, there's a difference between a trigger. Trigger often throws you into judgment. And when I say judgment, I mean into charge and polarity, into resisting, reacting, aligning, and agreeing. And when that happens, then there's a little, bulb coming up on saying, I'm not so sure about that. And then you compare that energy when you know something is true for you. And it's a knowingness. It's almost like you don't even have to share it with anyone. There is no right or wrong. It just is. So I think it's a heart-based knowingness for me.
I'm just asking because sometimes you know that you know what you're talking about, but there's still that counter that kind of puts you in a situation where you really have to really test it and still react like you know it, but it still is like it's like, am I supposed to just feel this even when I trust it with all my heart? Do you see what I mean? So that's why I kind of want to know. It's just
why do you have to feel and trust with all of your heart? Why not? Why isn't trusting with all of your heart enough?
I would just say more for like Martina was saying, a lot of situations that people are unaware of or they don't understand it, but I still just know it. They know it's right, but I still have to respect their free will, but I still have to trust what I'm doing. So it's a half-half situation.
That's the circumstance of living in the duality without acknowledging at the highest layers humanity and your human side that we're a singularity. And that's the greater journey into accepting who we are, what we can do, that the singularity is always a part of us and not in competition with the duality experiences. And there are many aspects of the duality external to us who are going to put us into doubt and hesitation about the singular experience. And trusting in your heart is more than enough. But oftentimes somebody else inserts the seed of doubt or seed of hesitation in which we question our own connection. The second anyone says there's going to be a savior, they've lost the whole point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Martina,
No, I was just going to add, it's that thing of awareness versus judgment. Okay? So awareness is you know what you know, and you don't have to have a conversation about that. That doesn't mean that somebody else right next to you can also know what they know, and it's completely different. Okay? And that's the thing. This is where we are so conditioned to having to be right or wrong that it becomes that old cat biting its own tail, because you're continuously aligning and agreeing with somebody. That's a judgment too. It's a positive judgment, which actually is not required. If you know, you know.
Yeah,
the
for
best
sure.
way of doing it, Joel, is stay out of. When you have these judges, stay out of it. You know what you know, and that's it. Thank you very much. You know what I know, you know what I know, and that's end the conversation, really.
100%. Yeah. It's just selective focus. It's just waste of energy for no reason. This doesn't going to take you anywhere. So it's
Yeah, and the more you practice that, you get to a place where you got fuck all to say anymore. It's like, okay, right, yes, those are the words. And you think, oh my God, I'm never going to have a conversation anymore. And then all of a sudden you meet somebody who is your signature frequency level, not a forced evolution. And all of a sudden it's blah, 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 blah. And it's all coming back because there's something to actually discuss from a co-creative perspective, not from a judgmental bullshit perspective.
Yeah, it's just it's so easy to fall into that. You want justice, or you want people to. It's more like it becomes very difficult sometimes when, especially anybody that gets triggered about children abuse or something. You're like, oh my God, you need to speak about it, but at the same time, it's like, is it really necessary? It's like, how do we know to
Yeah, and what if it's not difficult? What if it's just a choice?
No, everything is a choice, but it's just in that moment when you are full of, you get triggered. So it's so easy to.
There's a good one. There's a good question. Can you sit in a conversational fire like this and actually say, you know what, I don't know. I don't know. Go the opposite, flip the frequency. When you get all this passionate blah, blah, just, okay, I actually don't know. And then they take the judgment of that. And once you get used to that, it's because you know, but you don't have to force your opinion onto anyone.
Yeah, what I've been recently trying more is whatever subject we're talking about, I try to analyze as much as I can of the dark side of that aspect. And then I go into the positive of everything. I go back and forth. And that actually allows me to stay more neutral. So I've been applying that more, but I just, it takes a lot of practice. And it takes
a lot of energy too. That's when you get yourself into those energy harvesting conversations where you could choose to actually stay out of it.
That sounds good. Thank you very much. I think that, this conversation was very, very healing. So thank you very much.
Thanks a lot for calling.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye. Hi, Martina. We're at the end of the show. We've taken on like 9 callers, and our No Plan show has a universal plan behind it.
Fabulous. Well, such good callers. Thank you very much for phoning in, guys.
All right, Robert, take us away.
Each different bubble of reality is true. A galactic historian is a person that looks at all the lines of dramatic karma. Nudge, nudge, it's the Holy Grail. Improvise. Mysterious. It's counter psychic intelligence. Why is DNA farming of this star cluster so important? Because we do manifest our reality. We do create our reality. Hello, let's create, let's co-create, and let's change this world with love. No matter if you're from Alpha Centauri or Earth, we all began with the same birthing process. We live in a limited point of view. Living the mystical life daily is about striving for the unlimited point of view. Each day, each human being gets an infinite amount of choices. Living the mystical life daily is about facing obstacles and challenges. The level of awareness that you are working at means you have a responsibility to be equal with it. How does one truly let go of expectation? You can make the moment that you wake up to the moment you go to sleep sacred. The keys to success: choice, 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 and choice.